What's up, guys? Your boy Relish back here. Got another reaction video for you. This time we're reacting to Lil Nas X just destroyed his life. I've been seeing clips and hearing really crazy stuff around the internet, just like in the last couple of days, about Nas just going on his drug arguing. Honestly, it is sad to see him go out like this. We'll get right into it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get straight to it.
Lil Nas X was just arrested in Los Angeles, ended up in the hospital, and then got booked for hitting a police officer. So early Thursday morning, police received reports of a man walking around Ventura Boulevard wearing nothing but his underwear and cowboy boots. And obviously, as we now know, the man was the popular musician Lil Nas X, known for his hit Old Town Road, which basically became
so that confirms it was definitely him, bro.
And then he followed, essentially making every kid's
crazy
favorite
things
song
on
in
Twitter,
America, with a whole plethora of controversial social media stunts that kept him relevant. Because he had this massive kid audience, and then he started doing stuff like putting real blood in shoes he sold, and then lap dancing the devil in music videos, and so on and so on.
He had a video where he was Jesus, dude.
It's like, come on. Asking, hey, was this a real breakdown, or is this another attempt at headlines? What's going on?
That's what we were also... I saw a whole bunch of speculation on that. A lot of people think this might be a publicity stunt, seeing as how he was actually arrested, from what I could tell. I saw some records go out about him being actually arrested. I don't think so, but if it does turn out to be a public stunt or publicity stunt, this is scummy, and honestly, just I can't respect him here.
Well, let's get into it. So early Thursday morning, multiple videos began surfacing online of him wandering around the streets of LA. He was singing, taking off his shirt, and even put a traffic cone on his head, basically acting like if he was filming another music video, except the backup dancers are police officers and the special effects, they're all in his head. Speaking of police officers, though, reports say that when they actually showed up, he charged at them, with one officer claiming that Lil Nas X even punched him in the face. So
he assaulted a cop?
Restart the career, but hey, Public Information Officer Charles Miller said that upon arrival, the suspect charged at officers was taken into custody. He was transported to a local hospital for possible overdose and placed under arrest for battery on a police officer. So after a few hours at the hospital, once they realized he was physically safe to transfer, they moved him to Valley Jail in Van Nuys. Officially, he's been booked on misdemeanor charges for obstructing an officer and suspicion of battery. As of now, he's still being held. Now, this whole situation isn't just coming out of thin air. A few months back, Lil Nas X actually told his fans that his life had been pretty difficult in the last couple of years.
Hey guys, don't look at my furniture list house, but I want to say, because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm being flaky and very all over the place, but I was.
Yeah, am I crazy, or does he look like he's on something at the moment? Am I crazy?
For a long time, you know, these last few years were pretty difficult for me. They have been pretty difficult for me, and I'm just now like arriving to this place of feeling confidence in myself and what I'm doing, and I'm trying to make sure I put intention towards my music and my vision and the creativity of it all. And most of all, I really want to make sure I have fun this time around. I don't think I got to have as much fun during the Montero era because I was more overly focused on, I don't know, making sure the songs did well.
He said he's been losing confidence, struggling with mental health, and that his last music era drained him so much that he just wants to make it fun again. And honestly, yeah, degrading yourself on camera for millions of people to see is not good for your mental health. So I definitely see his point here. But he's also been open about how he's coped, smoking a lot, using psychedelics, and dealing with hypochondria after his grandma passed in 2018. And that's basically where you're afraid that you are sick or will die in some way. And I think this is a little bit common because I struggle with this as well, but it comes in waves with me because I think it's some trauma response, because I've had a handful of friends my age just pass away recently. So essentially you do the, oh wait, what's that weird feeling I have? Oh wait, why is my heart racing suddenly? Wait, why am I breathing like that? And then you Google it, and then Google's essentially like, yeah, you're gonna die. And then you're like, oh now obviously that's an exaggeration.
Joe, have you guys, honest to God, ever searched up symptoms on Google, bro? If you ever just start searching up anything, you just start feeling queasy or anything, bro, they will tell you've got some terminal 3 cancer or something crazy. It's just wild.
And most times you're completely fine. But if you mix that whole charade with, God forbid, any psychedelics or anything else, that's a bad cocktail. It's safe to say you can easily spiral on that. And not to mention, earlier this year, he landed in the hospital after part of his face literally stopped working. But he later said that was temporary, but still, that's pretty alarming considering he's only 26 years old.
That is,
so yeah, behind all the outrageous headlines and full-level stunts, there's clearly been a lot going on with him. And it's very possible that it was just a breaking point as well, or maybe even a cry for help. But here's where things get a little bit complicated, because people aren't fully convinced that this was a psychotic break. It's not exactly news that Lil Nas X has a long history of turning controversy and taking that and turning it into, you know, streams on his music or plugging his new project.
Really does like to.
Because as I mentioned some of those stories earlier, you have...
like, that is a lot of things we've seen in Nas X. Just like... content, it seems to really love using shock value, and it's like after a while, once you get to a certain level of shock, either people are really gonna hate your shock or they're just gonna stop caring. So I feel like that's kind of like just the issue with trying to go for the overly shock. It's like I understood the shock with Old Town Road, maybe even with I guess Montero, but like some of them, it's just like, dude, you're doing too much, man.
The Satan shoes. I don't know if any of you guys
the Satan shoes. Those were.
He dropped a handful of sneakers with a company called Mischief in 2022, where essentially they dropped actual human blood in 666 shoes, which they then sold. And Nike actually sued them for this, but they sold out in less than a minute. And if I remember correctly, the YouTuber Justin Wing, I think, got a pair.
I just Lil Nas X, and I have good news and bad news.
The good news may be that the Old Town Road performer is getting a lot of attention lately. The bad news could be that some of that attention has been controversial and has even led to a lawsuit. 21-year-old rapper
honestly, you gotta
Nas
respect
X
the drip.
timed the release of his newest video with the launch of a pair of sneakers, and both have made headlines.
But here he essentially created the most controversial merch drop in history. And of course, you also have the Montero video where he pole danced down to hell and gave Satan a lap dance. And that outrage turned into streams, and boom, one of his biggest hits were born. And then, of course, you had his fake pregnancy photos, which were just full-on maternity shots, belly out, flowers, everything. And the internet, as usual, was very split on that. Some people were outraged, some people were laughing at it, other people were like, bro, what are you doing? And then you also had the whole J. Christ rollout where he used crucifixion imagery to once again
this was just,
of, you know, what he did.
This just wasn't a good idea.
Music that pissed also a lot of people off, but it kept his name relevant, and therefore that led to streams. Now you have this whole pattern of Lil Nas X. He doesn't just drop music, he drops chaos and then follows it with music. So basically his branding was weaponizing shock, which brings us to now. Half naked on Ventura Boulevard, cowboy boots on, charging at cops like it's some kind of GTA side mission, then ending up in the hospital for a possible overdose before getting booked.
He overdosed?
Or is this another stunt? Now, the first thing that's a little bit interesting
is
all these images and clips are coming from TMZ. Every other news outlet I'm seeing cover this hasn't been able to get a response from Lil Nas X or his team, and that could be because he's laying low, but I kind of doubt that. Also, anyone else notice how fresh his shoes and underwear are? Like, if someone is like,
I'm saying,
like fully wiling out, are your underwear?
Their underwear and everything is not that clean,
like,
fam.
For someone who is completely losing it, he looks very well put together. But I mean, on paper, it looks like a meltdown, but with Lil Nas X, you never really know. Because here's the thing. The line between personal crisis and performance arts, that's always been pretty blurry. I mean, is this just his own version of trying to fabricate Britney shaving her head? Because, I mean, if you look at some of these clips from TMZ, it looks like he's singing to a camera.
This news comes after Lil Nas completely wiped his Instagram August 19th, before posting a series of cryptic pics as well as teasing snippets of several unreleased songs. with one of the posts including a selfie of the 26-year-old wearing a fur coat, cowboy hat, and bright red lipstick with the caption, "Oh no, she's gone mad. Crazy, I tell you."
Again, it's hard to say, but currently, Lil Nas X is being held without bail. And no, that doesn't mean the judge decided he's a supervillain who can never leave jail. It's actually just really odd that he's not offered bail. In fact, LA County has this like zero bail policy where most people with low-level charges, they just get released right away. He'll have to wait until his first court appearance on Monday, August 25th, when a judge will take a look at the whole situation and decide bail, release with conditions, or keep him in. Again, this is pretty odd. So either something fishy is happening here, or this assault on an officer was actually pretty serious. Now, let's talk the charges, because this menu is not short. The big one is battery on a peace officer, and here's the kicker. It can either be a slap on the wrist misdemeanor or felony with up to 3 years in prison.
It's probably gonna slap on the wrist. Let's be realistic here.
Whether anyone actually got hurt. Then you have your classic resisting arrest, which is usually a misdemeanor worth up to a year in jail. But if prosecutors decided that he treated it too similar to a WWE match, they could bump it up to resisting an executive officer by force or threats, which can hit either as a misdemeanor or a felony. And let's not forget assault on a peace officer, public intoxication, or even under the influence of a controlled substance if hospital tests come back messy. What's probably not on the table though is indecent exposure, because as wild as white underwear and cowboy boots look on Ventura Boulevard at 6 in the morning, it's technically not illegal. And honestly, definitely not the worst thing that you've seen on Ventura Boulevard. Also, it's odd to me that people in LA call the cops on something like that, because there's definitely bigger fish to fry. Now, obviously, the bigger problem here is running at the cops like you're in some linebacker tryouts for an NFL team. Just trying to visualize this whole situation, it just seems like a fever dream. So yeah, bottom line, Lil Nas X is stuck in jail.
Now, whenever he starts to put, it's like whenever he starts to put all this a little more together, it's a lot more clear. It does sound way more like a publicity stunt. It's like, now I'm hella sus, dude. I don't know, man.
This or make him sweat longer. If this stays at misdemeanor level, he'll probably get treatment, probation, and some kind of like diversion program. But if the DA decides to push the felony button, he's looking at some real time. And I'm really not trying to be insensitive here, but it's kind of reading a lot like brand promo, but like there's no proof of it. So, I'm kind of stuck in between here. And obviously, if this is not a stunt, then it's just kind of heartbreaking, because he has been open about mental health struggles, self-medicating, and even dealing with partial paralysis earlier this year. Maybe this was just a really bad night and he really needs help. But history tells us one thing. Lil Nas X, he thrives on headlines. Doesn't matter if it's sneakers, music videos, handcuffs. Chaos is definitely a part of his marketing plan, and if he really does drop new music after this, well, don't say I was surprised. But hey, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like on this video, and YouTube thinks you'll like this one, so you should probably check that one out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Grammarly works where you work. There's no more copying and pasting.
His end card wasn't there, bro. But nah, honestly, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you guys think it's a publicity stunt, or honestly is he just really going through it? If he's really going through it, I definitely feel bad. It's just, we've seen him do some pretty wild stuff for albums, so you could never know, honestly. Well, don't forget to like, comment, sub, and I'll catch you guys later. Deuces.
I asked for chatty.